And of course, you've already highlighted that we are going to be doing a best of one up until the finals, which means it's kind of all comes down to this. This is the only time the teams have a chance to kind of advance through the Go4. And for those of you that are wondering at home, we are going to be playing on the patch 5.3. Yep. So we're going to be live, and all those changes to both Ahri, Azir, Kassadin are going to be relevant.
And Ignite finally stopped you from backing.
Yeah, that was like in the office, we were like, finally.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's done damage ever since it really started out with. But anyways, Pixelmans have stars going to drop you straight into there. We will be having placeholders potentially on one side of the teams. Depends on who wants to be able to be using that one. So you might see us actually have to remake. And you might see some weird picks like Poppy coming in, though I'm assuming, hopefully,
we've seen a Poppy before.
We won't. No one really likes Poppy, though. No one really likes Poppy. But I can tell you this, the first bans coming in, we have Jarvan and Zed as the first initial ones. Jarvan, very strong jungler, always has been, always will be, at least for now. Curious to see if we're going to maybe have a little bit of Lee Sin, maybe a little bit of Pantheon coming into this. But time will tell if that will happen.
Yeah, actually Aurelia as that third ban coming in this time for the VG side. Now we have to take that top laner away from Best Kitty Cat, and in response to that, straight up Lissandra.
All right, so getting rid of some potential top laners, getting rid of some potential lockdown. They've got to be some really, focused picks here. Definitely trying to take away from Prince in that mid lane. Yeah. Even though Sandra still can go top lane. Pretty standard picks for the most part. I'm curious to see if we're going to have maybe a final ban come in onto the jungle. Maybe take away Lee Sin, maybe take away Pantheon. Maybe even a Nara, which has always been one of those frustrating top lane picks, even with the recent changes.
Wow, okay. So actually kind of blowing that out of the water, we have Vi and Graves as our last two bans. Vi, very popular jungler, very strong at the moment with all that lockdown potential. And then on the other side of things, Team Void Gaming opting to take Graves away. And that intrigues me. That's our straight up kind of compliment to the AD carry of VG.
Yeah, just kind of really focus. I feel like there's more focused bans on one side than there's the other. I mean, the Jarvan Aurelia vibes are really kind of standard, but when you mix in the Zed, the Sandra and Graves, it makes things a little bit interesting. But of course, you're happy about this, though. You're not going to see it where you want it, I guess, necessarily. But in Italy being picked up here, which has been in the jungle constantly lately, and it works wonders. You hear all the time she can't be 1v1 in the jungle. She's so fast. She does so much damage. Has a little sustain with her own healing. It's going to be tough to go up against.
Yeah, no matter what lane we see Nidalee in, she's going to be very instrumental in this one. A couple of changes, but not necessarily any nerfs, or at least that's how Riot addressed it. There was a kind of slight bug before where her cooldowns reset when they weren't supposed to, which meant you could basically get your Cougar form combo off twice when you weren't supposed to, and so that has been fixed. So technically, no kind of cuts or nerfs to Nidalee's kit, but albeit a slight one. I saw the. It's like
indirectly a nerf, but it's more just about fixing.
Yeah, it was a bug. So that's been removed, and now Nidalee is back to how she should be. On the other side of things, Rengar and Kassadin picked up, and that's going to be a very scary. I love that Best Kitty Cat currently has Rengar. I think that's very relevant, but I don't think we'll be seeing that in the top lane.
I kind of hope it will be, though.
I
kind of hope. I mean, the name kind of gives it away. It's like saying you're the best Ezreal player EU, and you don't pick Ezreal. It's kind of disappointing. But Kassadin has been recently nerfed just a little bit, with his Q doing, was it 10 less damage per level, so not as strong, I guess, in lane as he was just prior, but 10 really isn't too much if you think about it in the long run towards his late game. The Rengar, I want to see if it's actually going to be in the jungle. It's one of those champions that can kind of battle Nidalee a little bit. If you think about Nidalee, she has, 6 abilities, because she can switch from human to Cougar form. Rengar has kind of like 6 abilities, since when you get your Frosty stacks, you get a different kind of addition to it.
Yeah, okay,
an enhanced version of it, So can definitely be one of the champions that can meet up with her in the jungle, and I'm assuming that's where we're going to see it.
So you're assuming we're going to be seeing Nidalee jungle as opposed to perhaps mid?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's LCS. You look at LCS every game. You look in solo queue. It's Nidalee in the jungle if it's not banned away. But she still can be one of those picks. It's like we can put her in the jungle. You also put her middle, just kind of like Lulu. You could use her as mid, you can use her as top, you can use her as support. Even Morgana, which we've seen in the middle lane a couple times. It's just about what they want to use it for, and it's a very strong first pick.
Yep, very strong, and looking to see some confirmed picks over the side of Void Gaming. We actually see Morgana and Caitlyn. I'm assuming we have a confirmed bot lane. I mean, we have seen some surprise Morgana picks. I say surprise. It's been kind of a counter pick we've seen more often than not with Morgana in the mid lane. So I assume that's going to be the bot lane for VG locked in, and it looks like they are hovering over our response. I'm intrigued to see if LQ do opt for that Janna Severe lane, which is it's Bubble Central.
Bubbles?
Well, sorry, shields. They look like bubbles to me.
I was like, bubbles?
Bubbles? What?
Where'd those come from? Yeah, so you think about Severe, right? Morgana, kind of aggressive support if we're going to see her there. How do you counter Morgana? You mitigate one of her spells. You mitigate what makes her so strong, which is that Black Shield. Then again, the Dark Binding. Where did I go with that one? The Black Shield, though, which I was trying to talk about, is a really key factor when it comes to trying to engage, trying to go deep on a team that has a Janna who can knock you away, knock you up, slow you down, back shield the person going in, and then you're good to go. The Severe, though, is going to have a little bit of a rough time against Caitlyn and lane. Like, the range is a big disparity, but I want to say Severe has way better wave clear. Not way better, but better in the long run wave clear when you have the Boomerang Blade plus the Ricochet compared to just the Q out of Severe. Not to mention she'll have the mana back if she does block any or spells.
Yeah, and that's going to be intriguing to me. I mean, Severe, if she positions herself well, is going to make it very difficult for the Morgana.
You got it.
I got it.
You know what I'm talking about.
I see what they're hovering over. But yeah, on the other side of things, we have already confirmed the Ezreal pick. So it looks like we're going to be having, I'd assume, an Ezreal mid. We're seeing that played. Yeah. I mean, it's actually it's becoming more and more common because of that AD carry. I saw a recent video released by a popular YouTuber just saying best 5 AD carries for mid lane, and it's becoming more and more of a kind of a flavor, maybe even favored by some people. But we are going to be seeing Ezreal picked up. It's good against Kassadin.
It's good against Kassadin, but he's also one of the few AD carries that doesn't need a ton of farm depending on the route you go. So say you want to go blue build Ezreal, you build a tier, you know, Manamune, you build the Frostborn Gauntlets, Iceborn Gauntlets, and you're good to go. I mean, you do some good damage. You also have that slow in there, which can really help you kite and chase. So not really as far dependent as it will be for the rest, but more about it's their combo, where it's kind of a Wombo combo-esque. So you have the Malphite dive in, get a knock-up onto, let's say, 3-4 people. Then you have Morgana Black Shield herself, flash in, pop the ultimate to lock them down. You have the Ezra ulti to come across that, even Caitlyn like pilt over Peacemaker, and Italy can do some decent AoE damage if she hits her E's right. So they have an interesting composition, but one thing I hate about it, and I kind of always talk about, is Malphite top lane. Like, yeah, it's good for the engages, but if you fall behind early, that engage won't mean anything because you have nothing to follow up with. He won't be tanky enough to deal with the other team when you have this double AP combo of a LeBlanc and a Kassadin. They can blow up that Malphite before he can do too much. And then you think about the mobility on that side, where Severe can block your engage. You have LeBlanc and Kassadin who can just jump away. You have Janna who can push everyone back. Like, it's really kind of rough of a pick to go up against this comp.
Yeah, I understand both sides of the coin. I mean, you have to remember they have that Nidalee jungle. Now, Nidalee jungle at the moment, you know, for the mobility, you know, for the very strong pressure in lanes, once she kind of has built up a little bit of, I really do stress this, a little bit of AP. She doesn't need too much before she really can be influential in ganks. As well as, of course, counter jungling, which may make the jungler's life a little difficult.
So actually, okay, it looks like they were not lined up in order.
Yeah, they were.
So I was assuming they were, but we're gonna see Big Kitty Cat on the Big Kitty Cat.
Yeah, Big Kitty Cat taking it into the jungle. He obviously favors Rengar quite a bit. So it's going to be intriguing to me to see how someone who's gone out of their way to be the best Kitty Cat, to see if they can really show us how Rengar should be played.
I'm hoping it'll be okay. I'm hoping it'll be good. I mean, Rengar's kind of one of those hit or miss champs for me, where like you can do well early game, you can do well later on. Like if he builds damage, he can burst someone down. I'm actually thinking about who on this side he could go for. He could kill Caitlyn. He could kill Ezreal. He eventually could kill Nidalee, assuming she builds kind of a squishier route, which I don't think she will be. But then you have that with Engage. You have LeBlanc, you have Kassadin, you have the Severe speed up, you have the Janna natural speed up. Like, they are going to catch you. They are so fast, so mobile. So on the side of VG, they have to be careful. They have to not fall behind early, or they're going to pay the price as the game progresses further. Yep,
I think that's a good summary of their composition. You already highlighted your lack of faith in the Malphite top. However, you know, you've highlighted, of course, the strength that it can provide as well, that AoE presence in team fights. And talking of team fights, you know, when you've got 2 mobile assassins on the enemy team, it's going to be really difficult to force, LQ into these team fight situations, because their comp is not hungry for them. They're not looking for them. They even have a Rengar as a jungler. That's not necessarily a very strong team fight presence in the jungle. That's more of a kind of early ganks, getting your lanes ahead, as well as, of course, picking off throughout the mid game. And I mean, when you've got a Kassadin LeBlanc, those picks should, assuming at VG, you know, unless they put wards everywhere, they're going to start coming in.
I want to see what lane Best Kitty Cat's going to gank. I mean, Rengar, I'd say he's weaker early, for the fact of he doesn't have that nice way to get into the lane. Like, I mean, yeah, you can jump from a bush, but you have to get kind of lucky with positioning there. But when he hits 6, it's like instant stealth, and it's the whole Kassadin who can jump on you, LeBlanc who can snare you. Like, you're not going to escape with LeBlanc, unless you're Malphite and you have to pop your ultimate to get away. Ezreal will definitely have a tough time there when we see him in middle.
He's got his E.
He's got his E, but assuming the leash hits, I don't think you can break the leash range if LeBlanc's next to you when the chain hits. I'm pretty sure it's not far enough.
I know. As a LeBlanc, I wouldn't want to go face to face with an Ezreal.
Well, if you have a kitty cat on your side, though, the best kitty cat.
Okay.
But I mean, you have three potential snares: 2 LeBlancs, 1 Rengar. So you could keep him locked down almost indefinitely before he dies.
Okay.
But with a relatively squishy, Morgana, Caitlyn, Ezreal, they really have to depend on this Malphite to not fall behind. Because when he goes in, like, who's going to follow up? And it's just about the Morgana flash. And even then, he can be bursted down extremely quickly. So you don't want the other team to get ahead, or I feel like VG might just get crushed. They have to play well early.
It's composition-based, and at the moment, I think I have to agree with you that LQ's composition does look a little bit better for both picks. And even if a team fight was to occur, the disengage with the Janna alone and the severe ult, need I remind you, that's a lot of disengage. If they probably can get away from any fight that is forced by VG, unless, of course, we see something fantastic. And I hope that VG can prove us wrong and say, this is a real strong comp, and they show us why.
A little bit of find out. We're going to be loading in here in just a few seconds. Remember, guys, this is just a best of 1, and then we go into the semifinals, which will be a best of 1 as well, and the grand finals, which will be a best of 3 for 500 euros. First place takes home everything, and second place goes home with nothing. So a lot on the line here for for all these teams actually participating here today. And if you were to give a prediction, you're kind of in LQ's favor. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm in favor of their composition. I'm a little bit of a Nidalee fanboy, so I want to see Nidalee jungle.
A little bit?
Yeah, don't look.
Don't you have like every skin for her?
Don't look at my match history. That's essentially all.
Are you all Nidalee?
At the moment.
Oh gosh.
She's just too much fun at the moment.
She's fun.
Really, really good fun. When you like launch yourself across the mid lane to get a gank, it just feels really good. Anyway, bias aside, I'd like to see Nidalee jungle do well, but of course I have to say I agree. LQ's composition is a little too strong in my books for VG to prevail.
I mean, there's an upside and downside to both teams. Like if Void fall behind early, they kind of stay behind, even though they have their tank with Malphite. If it's the other way around, if LQ fall behind, then they're going to be missing and lacking a lot of damage they're going to need. Not to mention, Rengar won't be tanky enough to survive any sort of damage. So honestly, either team can win. It just comes down to which team's going to get the early start.
Yeah, and we are ready to jump on into game and see what these teams have to offer, as we're going to be kicking this one off with a bang. I can assume.
While I fix all the things.
Yeah,
yeah, the spectating's going to be horrible now. I can just tell because they're not in the right order.
You're going to keep cutting to the top
So I'm
lane
just
there.
going to leave the D on for now.
Okay.
And Ezreal, you can laugh all you want, but you know what? It's hard to spectate.
It's not easy, certainly not. And going into this one, you can see actually maybe potential invading squad. You can see, of course, I mean, Nidalee's so strong in the early jungle.
All right, guys, well, here we go. Kicking off the first game here in the quarterfinals. We have on the left-hand side on the blue team, it's Void Gaming with Godlike, Killer X, Oath, Prince, Owner, and Fearless. And on the other side, for LQ Esports, we have Best Kitty Cat, Botsny, Joxmeister, Najfrilla, and Kultarn.
You pronounce them much better than I would.
I practice, actually.
Najfrilla. Najfrilla?
Najfrilla.
Najfrilla.
It's
probably...
It's better than what I could have said.
Yeah. Oh, Spear straight off the bat, connecting onto the block. She's probably going to be forced to go back, and she is. Well, she's thinking about it, at least Bosty. Going to be opting to head on back to base. So, VGVLQ. Kicking this one off, you can see that deep ward over towards the Gromp area. And I mean, this top lane matchup, Malphite v Kassadin, we're going to be seeing how this one plays out. You've already highlighted, Jason, that the Malphite can struggle in lane and can maybe perhaps with that, if he doesn't get ahead, have issues. But it remains to be seen. I think this is all about the early game. We've said it once, we're going to continue to say it, is if this VG setup does pay off in the early game, we could be seeing a real match on our hands.
We could. You know, we have to highlight this. I mean, this isn't like the, LCS. This isn't Challenger. Like, this is just a step under that. So it actually doesn't matter in the end how your comp is set up, because it just depends on how you play it. Like, if you look at solo queue in the same mentality, you could be up against a counter pick, but if you know how to play your champion better than the other person does, then it's not going to matter if it's a counter. So ideally, we can just kind of speculate on compositions, how they're going to work, but it really comes down to how the teams are really going to execute these and really kind of play with it. But right now, as we're going to see in the top side, I'm curious to see how Godlike's actually going to do. He's built up, the Crystalline Flask, Health Pots, Mana Pots there too. He's trying to harass. He's doing actually really well here against Joxmeister. Look at that, getting taken down very low in HP. And just a little bit of aggression, just being that tanky Brock that he is on the top side. He's really pressured Joxmeister.
Yeah, and I mean, we questioned how the lane's going to play out, and this is the first direction we've been given by Godlike Killer. Meantime, the bot lane saw...
I'd say it's hard to... I mean, the thing is, if I hit like 3, it's going to pop up top or something, so I'll try to do my best for you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so the bot lane, you were saying?
Yeah, I was going to say that this matchup, it's going to be intriguing to me because, I mean, you have a Janna shield to counter the Caitlyn crit, but you also have the Morgana shield to Caitlyn... To Caitlyn? to counter any potential Janna knockups. So, you mean, there's kind of a give and take, and that's great binding already. Looking to pressure out this bot lane, and talking of pressure, 3 CS
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Ben's kitty cat. Oh, if only he knew. If only he knew. Owner was right there around the corner on a sliver of HP, but he will get the vision from this. He will get the speed up. Best kitty cat going to be hitting level 4 relatively soon, but going towards the top side, looking for the gank onto the man here, Godlike Killer X. And they might be able to pull this off. This is going to be dangerous.
It's not going to be easy. Doesn't have his utility yet. Doesn't have his ultimate to get away. I think he knows he's in trouble. 1E is all it's going to take. He's used his flash already. That could be a mistake. He has to try and close the gap. He does. He flashes for it. It's going to be easy first blood. It did cost him a summoner, but summoner exchange. And the first kill on the board now for LQ.
Surprised to see actually the double flash come in when Best Kitty Cat should have been able to finish it off. But I was actually questioning why did they flash so late, and that I think was due to they wanted to flash behind the minion wave and also make it so they're not so close to Malphite where he can Q them and run away. So they waited for all that and then got in, locked him down, and picked up the easy kill. But first blood going to the side of LQ. Fantastic job by them. And that will be Big Kitty Cat picking up the first kill. Oh, Botsy in middle. He might get closed in on. He's going to get the little bit of a dash away. Taking on half HP and Owner. Landing those spears. Fantastic job.
And that's the presence of Nidalee, already level 3, and already she can basically just walk and roam around in the enemy jungle. As you can see she's doing now, she's actually at the wolf camp. Potentially going to be taking that Grump away. Blue buff, she's just put out the blue, but this could be intriguing. If Owner chooses to, he could hang around trying to catch out Kitty Cat, and Kitty Cat sees way back in spawn.
Yeah, he should know that's up. The fact that there's no blue on Best Kitty Cat right now, and he hadn't, or he had both of his buffs. He's going to spot it out now. He's actually maybe going to try to ward it up or something. No, I'm just going to put the little trap there and visit down towards his bomb. So he doesn't have smite, so he doesn't feel like he can probably take it and outsmite Best Kitty Cat. I'm just going to take, just going to sit away. Actually, might be just waiting for it here off to the side. And will he walk through? Oh, he's going to have the ward down now.
Good timing. See, Kitty Cat is going to start taking his blue. I think he knows, well, of course he knows he's been trapped up. Did get hunted for 2 seconds, and now here comes Owner. Wants to try and connect. Actually, hits the blue buff. Not ideal. But of course, you do get that 2-second root. When you do hit a jungle mob with any of your spells, and looks like the bot lane is rotating. They want to try and force a fight here.
They shut the lane quickly. Now they're going to rotate to try to take this blue buff. They have everyone coming. They even have Fearless off to the side. And Best Kitty Cat, there's no way he's going to be able to block this one down. He doesn't even have smite at the moment. And Botsy, he's getting in a really bad position here. But the nice snare comes in. Fearless going to get locked down. They're going to look to turn this one, looking for Fearless. But he pops the heal. He's going to be ignited up. He should take away. He should fall for that one as he's forced to flash. The teleport going to be coming in now as Owner finally pick up the first kill on Botsy. And Jox is here, but he's not level 6. He doesn't have the ability to chase.
They're doing their very best. You can see Flash Force. And look at Owner. He's taking so much damage. He's going to be forced with the flash. They really want his blood. It's going to be Janna to secure that one. And elsewhere, that's going to level out to 2-1. And I think they've managed to get away. I was just trying to keep Fearless safe. Fearless taking a risk. Obviously, there is no vision there. I don't think Severe quite realizes how close 1Q would be from picking up another kill.
Fearless wants to stick around. I guess he wants the minion wave.
Yeah, I suppose once they pick up the CS, and elsewhere you can see Kitty Cat's made his way all the way down to the bot lane. He's just going to pushing that up as best he can, getting as much CS as he can, and trying to get ahead of the jungle. In the meantime, though, this top lane matchup is really favoring Godlike Killer. As you can see, 38-20, nearly double the CS of... well, it is confusing, isn't it? Joxmeister.
You wanted to say Best Kitty Cat, didn't you?
I looked up top, I was like, oh no.
That would be fixed next game for us. But if Godlike was level 6, I feel like he might have been able to pick up a kill here, but we're seeing some momentum building up here for the side of VG. Just in Owner alone, he's got his tier done, he's got his Trailblazer, and he is getting built up, getting pretty strong pretty damn quickly.
Here we go. 7 minutes in, just thereabouts, and the AD carries have managed to close that gap, saying AD carries. More like Naj Thriller, who managed to get back from that 10 CS deficit he had very early into this game. And looks like Kitty Cat has got his eyes set on Dragon. I don't know whether him and Kutan are going to be discovered. No vision so far. Skullcrab's still walking around. They have no idea whatsoever that is being completed. And it's only taken 2 of them, because Naj is still in the lane. They're not really considering that Dragon could be done. And there it is. First Dragon has been slain. Going over to the red team. LQ extend their lead.
Yeah, they held steady there, just kind of committing to that one. And eventually, able to pick it up without any vision being seen. So they do get that sort of advantage. They're still down about 300 gold, though. And CS in that top lane, like you pointed out earlier, is getting really, really worrisome. 50 to 24, like doubling the CS. He's even been a little bit tanky here with that Giants, but on the other side, still trying to go, hit the wrong button, trying to go for his Catalyst, which he doesn't even have built. If you want to keep in mind, Rod of Ages, really effective prior to that 14-minute mark, and then after that becomes not as gold efficient or cost effective. And Jox, I don't think he's going to be able to hit that point.
I think you're right, and that can be a big deal for champions that do favor the early Rod of Ages, is if you do get locked out of CS early. Wow, talking of CS, he's just picking up some extra CS with his ultimate. Fearless realizing that he's not planning to get any kills. Not too much kill potential in his lane when you have a LeBlanc. I mean, Nidalee can only do so much when LeBlanc has her dash, and as long as you don't completely whiff your dash, you should be able to get away scar-free. On the top of the map, you can still see that this pressure that Godlike Killer is exerting is staying constant, as Joxmeister unable to continue to close this CS gap. 52 to 34. Kitty Cat is going to be opting to pick up that second red buff. Seem to smite it as well. Obviously run a little low on HP, and it's going to be intriguing to me when these junglers are going to meet. Kitty v Cat, you know, it's going to be intriguing to see when those two kind of clash in the jungle.
Who wins in a Cougar versus Lion?
I think Cougars are smaller.
But they might be more agile.
Ooh, we never know. We'll find out.
We'll find out, yeah.
But away from nature documentaries aside, Jox has just used his Rift Walk. I think he did catch a glimpse that there was a Nidalee coming towards him. And I mean, we know that Jungle Nidalee is very effective at counter jungling, at evading the enemy jungle. And we haven't seen too much of that so far from Ona.
Yeah, he tried towards blue. No, Best Kitty popped the ultimate though, trying to maybe chase on towards middle. And will be forced back, and not to mention even being seen. Oh, this is going to be really bad for him. Didn't get chased on by Owner, doing some good damage. Red buff. Edgewater comes in, cleans up the kill. Was not expecting that. And Fearless picks up a double buff for his troubles with the tier done. That is just getting him to be so happy, stacking up that tier and getting everything going in his way.
I mean, well, hang on 1 second. Jox is in trouble. There's going to be a cat on his face anytime now if he's not too careful. Riftwalk used. He's surely going to meet his demise. Red buff ticking away. It's godlike to wrap that one up. And as I was going to say before, the top lane did get ganked. I mean, red buff and blue buff is just everything Ezreal could dream of. These auto attacks are now, of course, going to be ticking away, as well as being able to just spam your abilities, and that's going to really put a big advantage in the hands of the VG mid laner.
Yeah, it's going to put a span in the works for the side of LQ. They need to focus up here. They can't afford to let any more kills really come in. Botsy getting very low in health, and he has to back away. He can't really commit around this for much longer. Fearless can almost dive him. The best Kitty Cat might be in the vicinity here to help out. Look at that, just 1Q pops the passive. Oh my wow. And he's going to have ultimate in a second. He's going to have it up. He's going to go for it.
This is not quite accurate.
That was not as eventful as
exciting as I thought it could be. It's got like it's going to be back on the way to lane. 75, the update for you guys. In the meantime, though, Oath is in trouble. He's popped his ultimate. He's going to try and just slow them down, try and get Caitlyn away, but Caitlyn takes one. Wow, that's a lot of Q damage. It's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange in that bot lane. Best Kitty Cat has certainly been ganking effectively. That's now 1 kill for himself, 1 for his bottom lane. And that does actually level out the kills to 4-3. But that gold lead, almost 2,000 separating the two teams just 10 minutes in.
It's pretty much just built up within the AD carries and the top laners. 75 to 45, that's a 30 CS difference. Kind of like going, why is he going Sunfire Cape? And if you noticed, Best Kitty Cat sold his Trailblazer and switched it up. He switched it up.
Well, I mean,
for the Stalker Blade.
It's free now. It's free to make that change.
But okay. Well, that's a kill on bomb side. Missing the first one of many. Will be turned on though, and Bodlike with the teleport coming down the bottom. Look for the kill onto Frilla here. But he doesn't have ultimate. He's gonna get knocked away.
This is beautiful. Jonas is trying to keep the AD carry safe, but the spear connects, and that should be one dead Severe. He's not too careful. Not just done such a good job. The exhaust comes out, and all of a sudden, his life's in trouble. Ona knows his best defense is good. Offense is he tries to take the AD carry down. Fearless does it for him, and now it's a 3v1. Godlike Killer knows he's in trouble, but he's malfight. He's got a backup as well, and he has his teams coming in to support. What an ultimate! Just trying to take the LeBlanc down. It's a double now for Ezreal. He's looking for a third.
Well, he's looking for Jox, and he might be able to pick this up. The Riftwalk got to come in. He's going to get some distance, and he's going to be able to back off. But and the other things that was what, 3-for-2 trade in favor. No, 2-for-2 trade in favor of VG. And I mean, I'm not going to be really happy with that one. But I'm not going to be too disappointed. They still got Fearless quite a few kills. He's at 3-0 with that Sheen done.
Wow. And
he's going to start to snowball this lane even further if he hasn't now.
They grouped up so quickly. Fearless, really strong rotation from him. He realized that it was Bozzy. Oh, sorry, Bozty.
Botsty. Botsy.
It's Bozty. Bozty. God, these names. Okay, so yeah, it was Bozty who was already roaming. He saw him missing from the mid lane and immediately went to assist his teammates.
At least it's not Love Machine.
Ouch.
Now this is where you say, at least it's not but ILY.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just too much. As you can see, poor Vozti, as I can now pronounce his name correctly, 74, make it 77 CS to near 90 of Fearless, who's been doing a great job. Add, is it 3 kills now? 3 to the mix. He's setting himself up for a really strong performance on Ezreal. In the meantime, though, in that top lane, you can see Jox doing well. Oh, dearie me. Ona's trying to take this blue buff away, and it looks like Kitty Cat might have something to say about it, but so does the entire VG side. They're grouping up, and Jason, this is going to be a bloodbath.
It is going to be a bloodbath here, as we're going to see the first kill come in for picking up on the best Kitty Cat, but Furlet will be able to respond with the kill himself. A double kill actually coming in for Botstu, and that will be a 3-for-1 trade in favor of the LQ side. And we're talking about compositions, we're talking about everything before. And you're seeing it's not really down to compositions right now. It's coming down to these scrimmages. Who's going to outsmart the other? And this will be the top turret going down, though, at least in the meantime here, with the first turret going to the side of Void Gaming.
Now, what's the mindset here? Why have they chosen to go for bot turret instead of Drake? Because Drake spawned as well. They just want they knew there was just 2 members on the side of VG up. Are they saying they can go bot turret and then go move to Drake? You can actually see.
Oh, they don't have a jungler.
Seems to be the case. They know that Nidalee's probably not going to get there in time, and already they're going to be taking both of those objectives before Ona can really get there. I say that he is getting close. He may be able to connect a spear, but I don't think that's going to be enough.
Done already. Even though they did go bottom. Like, they didn't have a jungler, and they were scared of Nidalee returning back to lane here to do something about it. But best Kitty Cat able to get there in time, pick up a second dragon of the game for themselves. The gold still behind just by a little bit as the turret's being taken in that CS difference. But they're looking for maybe a gank here on the middle. We'll have Godlike coming down. Botsti, he might be in a rough situation, but he will just back away instead. Not going to commit for that one. And that will now be 2-0, or 2-1, sorry, for turrets for VG.
So Oath is going to be scouting out that what is best he can, taking that pink away finally from that pixel bush. And I mean, as this starts to quieten out, it's time to take stock, see where things have kind of got either side. The gold lead is still in favor of VG by a slightly smaller margin now that bot turret has been picked up by LQ. 24 to 22, 2,000 gold in favor of VG. And I mean, as we reach that 15-minute mark, the main difference I think I noticed, especially in terms of CS, is just both mid and top, these solo lanes really running away with it.
Yeah, so Botsti, I mean, he's going to struggle if he's not able to one-shot Fearless, or to be able to combo him down extremely low and have that kind of threat. So if he doesn't have that threat of being able to kill you, then Fearless can play, well, Fearless. He can continue to shove in, pick up a bit of CS in that one. And that's what's kind of happened. Because of that triple kill he had earlier, because he has that 1 assist under his belt, Botsi was really scared of him. But with the Void Staff being completed relatively soon, Relonomicon being done, he does have the damage to maybe take him down. But it's kind of at that tipping point. If he fails to do that, then Fearless is going to get so much further ahead. Oof. What is with Fearless hitting those ultimates? I mean,
so accurate.
I feel like we're watching Sencux right now.
Yeah, he has not missed a single ult so far. You can see he's been doing a great job in just being present with just the ultimate alone. Looks like we could be seeing a gank coming in towards Castin here. He has connected the spear, and that's a beautiful spear from Ona, because it means Jux can't quite get away. He's going to keep pouncing on top of him. Another spear connects, waiting for Jux's Rift Walk finally. Oh, he times it poorly. Jux is going to get away from this one. As I say that, though, Fearless has come to join the party, and maybe, just maybe, if that spear had connected, we would have seen Jux lose his life. Instead, though, that's going to be a 4-player investment to that top lane with nothing to show for it.
If only Godlike had ulted up in that time, he might have been able to pick up the kill, or at least help solidify it. Nonetheless, to rotate around in towards the jungle, they have so many wards down. And look at this, Kutarn, he might get caught out. They're going to go for the chase of the spear. It's not going to land. Just hitting the coattails of Kutarn there. And that will at least allow them to keep this kill lead. But they're still down in gold quite a bit. It's still continuing to snowball in favor of VG, and VG are ready to start grouping up. They're like, all right, well, we have a stronger team comp when it comes to just fighting you hands down. We have to be careful, though, of your engages. We have to not let Botsy get that much further ahead. But, you know, being 16.5 minutes in with the Rod of Ages just being finished up now, Joxmeister isn't going to be as strong as he wants to be.
Yeah, it's not as efficient as picking up before the 14-minute mark, and now just taking the free mana gifted to him by Ona. That's the beauty of Severe.
I don't actually agree with that, because now look at this. 15 seconds left on a spell shield. Like, yeah, you get the mana, or you could have just dodged and not really had to worry about mana.
He walked into that.
He walked in it, but he only has 8 seconds left on it now. He's going to take damage from that. He could get dove down by a Malphite. He's got to hope his cooldown comes up in time. Like, that's just one of those plays that you kind of have to question sometime. But either way, it's worked out for him. He's been able to stay alive, and there hasn't been a dive just yet. But VG, they're trying to force these fights. There's no dragon. There's no objectives to compete for right now, and yet they want to just duel this out.
Ona has connected 3 out of 3 spears so far. Not going to land the 4th as the flash is forced, and the flash response straight away from Fearless. Quite that, as he's trying to find a fight. Nothing's going to come of it just yet, but they are going to be trying to force towards this objective, and you can see Jox has been spotted out by the ward, and I think he realizes as suddenly Godlike Killer turns around, trying to perhaps use his ultimate. There is a Malphite ultimate brewing on the sidelines, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a dive here.
And this is what they're kind of meant for, that Malphite ultimate, and allowing the rest of the team to get the damage. The only problem is that Frilla, he has Infinity Edge done, compared to the other side, where you're just sitting on like half-built items. Infinity Edge almost completed, and a Zeal. So unfortunately, Prince isn't going to have the damage that he wants to match up against the AD carry of the enemy team of Naj. Either way, they get some damage onto the turret here. They still have 2 AD carries, so they can still continue to shove in here, do some good damage. But Best Kitty Cat looking for the fight. The ult is being popped, the speed being increased, and they're trying to go for that disengage.
Doing their best, but Oath is having none of it. Does connect the ulti. Best Kitty Cat in trouble, but uses the heal. Should be another ultimate. Oh, he's so very low. It's Godlike Killer to seize it. As Bosty not quite going to be able to pick that one up. Owner's going ham, and he's not going to be able to get away with this one, surely, as the Kitty does get taken down. 2 kills on the board now for Joxmeister as he just riff walks away to safety, and that was a great exchange. 2 players now down for VG, and LQ, though low health bars, do pull ahead.
And now Owner, he's down 4 of his 9 lives. He has to really play this one a little bit safe. He can't afford to die that much more. I mean, yeah, he picked up a kill there. Actually, no, he didn't pick up a kill, more importantly. He dove into 3 people and didn't get a single one. But either way, they pick up the turret, they lost 2 people. They're going to pick up a blue buff for the troubles, but now they have to look for the next fight. A minute left to go on Dragon. They need to be prepared for it. They don't really have vision down, except this one ward you're seeing on your screen now. They're not really prepared for this. Like, they have a pink ward they could clear out. They're going to try to take the Scuttle Crown, which would be huge, and allow them to get some sort of vision and that potential push in or disengage off when they need it.
Yep, Felis did spot out that pink ward. Has been taking that one out of the equation, and it's just going to come to this kind of question mark about the turrets. 4-1 now. That gold lead is going to continue to grow. Though the CS lead has been kind of not neutralized, but has been dealt with somewhat. That top lane completely negated. Not so much in the mid lane, 150 to just 105. But, you know, credit to Kassadin. Joxmeister has been doing a great job in managing to pick up that CS. Of course, you know, Godlike Killer has been roaming around. He's been trying to do what Malphite does best, which is just spread himself out, use that ultimate, and try and force fights. Didn't quite work out in their favor just yet, but
it didn't. And even in that last fight, it didn't. He went in towards Best Kitty Cat, and like he knocked him up, but then Best Kitty Cat's like, all right, I'm just gonna heal off you and not die. It's kind of that's like the up and down side of Malphite. He can be so impactful and just destroy an enemy team by hitting a 5-man ultimate, or he could mess up and hit one person or whiff it completely and offer nothing to the team.
Look how little damage Godlike Killer took there. Joxmeister doing his best with the null sphere and
no teleport.
Is this a potential third Drake? It could very well be. Best Kitty Cat talked low by Caitlyn, but Prince can't quite get into this fight as the ultimate is popped. Binding not going to connect just yet.
Oh, they have the speed up though from that one. That was an amazing Scuttlecrab pickup, but look at that severely disengaged coming with Janna. They're impossible to chase, especially with that 3rd Dragon stack giving that extra move speed. And that's what we talked about before. They have so much mobility that it's hard to catch them, and the Malphite might not even be strong enough to allow that to happen.
That doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Another Spirit coming in again. So many skill shots reliant on the VG side. This one does connect, as does the Binding. Joxmeister could be dove, but look how low Prince is going. He is actually going to take down the turret, finishing off where the rest of the team started. And now, I mean, talking of skill shots, we have Binding, Spears, Ezreal ults. As I say that, he just throw off his own. Even the Malphite ulti is a skill shot. And I mean, this VG side, at the moment, they are hitting the right shots they need to, but it's so very reliant on both them, but also the dodges from LQ. If they have a very kind of on-the-ball team, they could pretty much evade everything thrown at them. There's now Godlike Killer. He's trying to solo down this Janna. I think he is. Kutan realizing that he's going to have to use his ultimate as best he can. As looks to be Kitty Cat just picking up his red buff. And actually, I can't believe Janna got away from that. Just using his ult is all it took. And now 21-25. Let's see, we're getting into that scoreline.
I mean, it's you look at the score and you're like, oh, okay. You know, LQ are starting to snowball this game a little bit. 12-9, that's not a bad scoreline for them. They have a lot of bursts with LeBlanc, a lot of damage with Rengar. But the gold is different, right? It's like, what, 2K difference between the two teams, 2.2. And then you have to consider the Dragons. There's 3 under the belt here of LQ. So it's kind of a really even game. You know, if you think about how much those 3 Dragons give them in terms of gold, you know, the extra damage from AD and AP, the extra movement speed, the extra damage, I would say LQ is actually ahead.
I'd have to tend to agree with you, and it looks like potentially Joxmeister could be in trouble. He's going to be trying to rift walk away, but I mean, Fearless is on his way, as is Morgana. Oh, and he really wants this. Just get the scrying orb out. He knows exactly where Joxmeister is, and he's got the damage potentially to follow him up. He doesn't have his ult. So that's a lie, he does. Didn't quite get Jox low, and all of a sudden it looks like Kitty Cat has emerged from the jungle. He wants blood, but Fearless is going to try and keep his support safe. He's going to do a great job at that. The enhanced auto attack is going to be fantastic, and all of a sudden health bars are dropping as a player's Prince in trouble. He's forced to back away from this one. Double kill now picked up by Naj Frilla. And every single time we see this opening pick picked up by VG, LQ respond in force.
They do, and they completely, I mean, it wasn't really a counter, it was just a great kind of read on the situation on the side of LQ, realizing, yeah, we might lose Jox Meister, but we can get there in time. We're fast enough to get around the map to at least pick up a kill or two, and Naj, well, he's now at 5-1-6. Out of nowhere, he's really starting to step up for his team. He has the Phantom Dancer now done. He's basically a full out in the head, has another 1,100 gold to spend. And this game, it's starting to really get in the hands of LQ. If they keep this pace up, they should be able to pick up the win and advance on to the semifinals.
An intriguing thing to highlight is actually the build that we're seeing Ona take. Ona has opted to go to not build the jungle item, just instead go for the Stalker's Blade and no Magus enchant. He's just opting to go.
He just finished it. Like, literally just finished it.
Oh, did he do? Oh, okay. But so late. I mean, we're 23 minutes in, and he opted to go for both Morello's and a large rod first, even a tier first.
You know, you think about that, like, so the cooldown reduction, right? You get off Morello's, means he can chase better. When you're against a mobile team like that, kind of works out. But yeah, it's a little bit odd to see the Magus enchant come in that late.
It's so money efficient.
Yeah, but now he's a nice little power spike from that with the tier, with the new large rod done. But the game isn't about individual, it's about team play. And Godlike, I'm not sure why he's actually trying to harass Jox, as he's just going to hop over the wall. But you're seeing VG kind of, like, I don't, there's one thing I don't understand is, like, if they want to force these fights, why didn't they contest Dragon earlier? Like, they've been trying to force fights for the last, I want to say, 5-10 minutes, and yet they haven't contested any of the Dragons. They've allowed 3 to go away scotch-free.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid question, because of course, you know, Dragon is a big deal, and already 3 now for LQ to 0 from Phil. Oh, we're talking of Fearless, he just got completely eliminated. The lockdown that Kitty Cat can provide, and that's beautiful. Flash, another lockup, and potentially another kill. It's going to be LeBlanc and Kitty Cat to wrap that one up, as Rengar is doing so much work. 257, those 7 assists, he locks down every single player that chooses to try and fight his team, and VG, they seem to be constantly looking for these fights, and when LQ give it to them, LQ come out on top.
Well, LQ is trying to avoid, like, 5-on-5s. Like, all right, well, you guys wanted to fight us, then you, like, send 3 people mid and 2 of you sit around in a jungle. Then we'll fight you, because we can hop over the walls, we can collapse on. If you think about vision, like, this is the vision that VG have inside the jungle. When you can hop over these walls and completely catch the opponent out with a snare, with a Rengar snare, with all the different things they have, how do you hope to survive? And you're not going to unless you have all 5 people there and can just respawn really quickly. So, honestly, LQ are playing this one very smart. They're playing it, they're executing it really well. They're avoiding the team fights, they're going for the picks, and they're coming out ahead. They finally pulled ahead in gold, 16-10, 25 minutes in, and they're up about 1,000 Gs.
So, is that a Baron buff I see being picked up by VG? They're going to be giving it their best shot, and I don't think Kitty Cat's in any position to try and steal this one away, and it's going to be a freebie. 25 minutes in, and fantastic performance from VG. They realize that their players are going to have backed off after picking up those kills and pushing those waves, and it's going to be a freebie straight on given to the VG side. That's going to be a lot of gold. That's going to level out the gold again, and it's also going to put a very strong buff to enable perhaps a VG team fight.
I don't see it doing much for them. Like, I mean, it's like yeah, we could take it, cool, but what are we going to accomplish off a team fight from it? They can push, but if they're going to go for that, I mean, they have a double 80 carry, so yeah, they have the opportunity to do that, but LeBlanc can hop in really quickly and burst someone down. You got to be kind of careful. It's about reaction times. If LeBlanc hops in, can Godlike get the knockup? Or the Dark Binding, can that come in from Oath? They're going to be able to pick up their first Dragon, so they get that nice 6% AD and AP increase. But with the Baron alone, it was kind of like an opportunistic, not allow the other team to take in push, but VG have been trying to force the team fights. LQ haven't been letting them happen. And when kind of VG are like, all right, well, we're going to just back away then, that's when LQ advance on. That's when they engage, and that's when they pick up kills.
Yeah, I agree to some extent. I think the fact that they have got that Baron buff does enable them to perhaps maybe set up a little bit of a split push, try and push these waves away, keep their towers safe. And as I say that, I don't... that top turret's going to be completely deleted by the LTU side. They're actually going to see the Ezreal ult trying to push a bit of damage down, but that's not going to stop the turret falling. And so that's going to add the third now for LQ and start closing that gap, 4-3.
I feel like the only person that can split push in this game is actually Best Kitty Cat. Like, yeah, Cassian can, but he won't take down turrets that quickly. Best Kitty Cat can do quite a bit of damage to it, and he's not needed for the fights. Like, it's not like he's a vital or integral part in how LQ are going to execute the fights. You look on the other side, Malphite, like, you need him in the fight. Caitlyn, you need him in the fight. Ezreal, you need him in the fight. They can't really split push with this Baron buff. They're just trying to push as a team. But LQ just have to wait it out. Then like, all right, well, we can push back on you. And once Best Kitty Cat gets tanky enough, then he can withstand the damage and dive in.
Wow, if that's bit connected, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Bosti going down. He very well might. Still, he does not. What? Well, I didn't manage to catch that. Look at his HP.
Kutarn saved his
That
life.
was all on the Janna shield, and it was all he needed.
It wasn't even the shield. It was he stepped in front of the Ezreal ult to reduce its damage.
As well as the Caitlyn. Did he
Yeah.
catch the Caitlyn ult as well? That would have been amazing.
Actually, I don't know. He might have, so you might be right on that one. But I know he did reduce the damage Ezreal did. And from that alone, they're looking for a push on this top turret. It's going to be very risky, though, as we see Best Kitty coming in from the backside. Pops his Randuins for no reason. Maybe a little bit of a misclick, so they will lose a turret for that. And we're 6-3, 28 minutes in. And VG are trying to get this pressure on.
Oh, it's not going to be an easy position to be in as a defending side. It's going to all come down to LQ as their team synergy. You have, of course, two very mobile assassins and two very squishy AD carries. You have, of course, Ezreal and Caitlyn, and that's a risk VG have taken. They know that with LeBlanc and Caston, they could very easily see two vital members of their team fight eliminated in seconds. But saying that, that turret's already half health, and there's no sign that LQ want to go in on this.
Yeah, they're looking for
keeping that cannon minion safe. Babysit the cannon minion game.
If you think about like who's going to be the one to kill it, it's got to be Severe, but he's actually going back to base to buy up really quickly and return with almost the last whisper. Actually picks up a BF sword.
Oh, it's gone.
And the Baron buff does wear off, so that will be LQ standing the siege for now. But it looks like it's not over just yet. They're still trying to commit for this one. They have to be so careful. Look at the damage Bossy just did.
Wow, but look at the damage Fearless does the response. All those health bars are falling. Red are looking very, very low. LQ doing their best to back away. It's going to be a double picked up now for Ezreal. Joxmeister looking to be in a very similar tight spot as he's being pursued. Zhonya's his force. That should be one very dead casted. Wow, the flash at the max range just evading the Morgana Q, and all of a sudden Fearless in trouble. Kitty Cat doing his best, uses his ultimate, but at the end of that one you blink and you miss it. The entire team fight does occur, and VG look incredibly strong. They pick up an inhib, 3 kills, and a very strong team fight. 7-3 now in turrets. And that's going to be a huge gold advantage now. 4,000 gold separating the two teams.
And they didn't lose a single man.
Wow.
That's just amazing. I really didn't expect that. But that was a great job. I feel like just kind of push in, really apply the pressure with Botsy. You saw him go in, and you saw him burst 3 people down to just a sliver of life, just from his combo because of how grouped up they were. And that's what you have to kind of be careful of. Unfortunately, sorry, I was actually trying to see if he's trying to kill someone with this for some reason. Unfortunately, Jox didn't go in with it. That might have been enough damage to burst a couple of people down if they just committed for that fight. But unfortunately, they backed away, got caught up, and they lost LeBlanc right off the bat.
I think what VG have is a lot of panic buttons. If you go in, if LeBlanc, if Cassin were to go in, you've got Godlike Killer's ulti, you've got Morgana's ulti, you've got Ezreal's ulti. These instant sources of AoE damage, which can be very scary. See how much damage they can do when used in synergy. And so it intrigues me to see that actually, with mobile assassins, LQ are still cautious. They really do not want to go into these teamfights because they know the potential damage that can be output.
Yeah, they can't afford to get caught out. And as the game progresses further, the double AD carries is really going to start to step up here. We see Fearless didn't go for the standard blue kind of build, went for Trinity Force, went for Last Whisper, and has his Mirror Mana done. Not to mention the cooldown boots behind that. So he has a lot of extra damage here. Caitlyn even getting a little bit of spike here. Prince with the Affinity Edge and the Phantom Dancer done. And you look at, Frilla. Oh, actually, Prince getting caught out here. Best Kitty Cat almost able to burst him down alone. And you can't afford to separate that. Now Oath gonna get locked down a little bit. Best Kitty Cat taking quite a bit of damage. I'm not sure Owner's going in for that one. That was a stupid move by him. And now Oath is gonna pay the price as well. They're gonna lose out on another person, and that will be a 3-for-0 exchange. And you see Godlike in the meantime trying to push top lane, trying to apply some pressure here, force them back. And for some reason, Fearless just taking his blue buff in the meantime.
I think there's an equivalent to Lee Syndrome for Nidalee. I think it's a new thing.
Lee Syndrome?
Lee Syndrome.
Like if you land a Q, you have to go in?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you land a Spear, you have to go in?
It seems to be, I know it exists, but also you saw Owner.
From personal experience?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. He connects the spear, and then straight away you could see he was like, oh, I could kill him if I got the chance, and it was just this kind of but that he did actually cost him his life.
You have to expect there's like 4 other people with them.
I think it exists. I think, Nidalee, I'll work on it. I'll work on it. I'll have it for you.
Nidalee Syndrome.
That doesn't work.
Yeah,
Nidalee Syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh my god, where? That was right in front of me.
It was.
That was right in front of me.
Nidalee Syndrome.
Not on the ball today. Great play, though, from the defending side. LQ managing to force another 3 kills and actually extending their lead. That gold lead that they are trying to battle back into. It's kind of been the case that VG have always been ahead in gold just because of towers, but kill distribution, gold in the right players, it does feel that LQ have the advantage.
It does. Actually, no. I don't know. It's weird, right? like LQ, they have 6 extra kills. They have the 3 dragons. They have a 5-1 Cassin, a 6-3 LeBlanc. But I still feel like VG are dictating the pace of the game. That's gonna be their second dragon buff picked up here for the side of VG. And they're constantly applying the pressure. Like, if you think about who's on whose side of the map for the majority of the game, it's been VG always onto their enemies, onto LQs. And LQ, yeah, they have a lot of damage, but they're also really squishy. And they're not really getting a tanky to deal with this. They have, you know, Caitlyn, a Nidalee, an Ezreal, and a Morgana just constantly getting stronger and stronger. They have to cap someone out with, and that's what they're depending on Best Kitty Cat from doing. But here we go. Baron being started up, down about half HP. I don't think there's anyone here who can even stop this right now. Severe, oh, if a Boomerang Blade goes over the wall, I will scream like a little girl, but no, it's not going to happen for now, and that will be the second Baron buff picked up.
So VG, they've been getting these free Barons, but like you said already, last time they had it, you were questioning whether they could do enough with it. They did end up taking an inhibitor and 3 kills.
That was without Baron, too. That's the funny thing.
Oh, good point.
They lost Baron, but they did get the turret down about half HP, so maybe they're feeling more confident after that.
Yeah, they were certainly there because of that Baron buff, but last time they had it, they managed to push that top lane, and they're looking to do the same thing here, rinse and repeat in that mid lane. Let's remember the catalyst. Let's remember what forced this fight before. It was actually LeBlanc. It was Botsy. He went straight in, and it cost him his life. Let's see what happens here. Of course, Godlike Killer has that engage. He has his ultimate. He's also got the cooldown on Morgana's Black Shield now ticking away. I mean, with Fearless and Prince just sitting on the sidelines, 2 scary AD carries.
One thing we should talk about is poke. You have an Ezreal, you have a Caitlyn, you have a Nidalee. And I guess you have Morgana in there. The poke they have to just kind of push into turrets is just devastating. And you're seeing Botsy already take quite a bit of damage so far. Every spear, every kill that lands across from Ezreal, it forces them back. And they're just looking to get one person low so they can take the turret.
Yep, and we can see that turret's going to be falling before the fight even happens. But oh, Kitty Cat, he's just been deleted, as is the entire enemy team. What is happening? LQ crumbles as well. They're looking for more. It's going to be Botsy just desperate to get away, as is Severas. They are going to get away with their lives for now. 2 players and 2 objectives picked up now, and they're looking to keep going. They've got the attack speed. They're going to be taking that second inhib, and wow, they are just crumbling. LQ, despite the kill advantage, are just being picked apart by what we described as the less favorable composition.
I think it was just because we didn't take into consideration the poke kind of factor. I honestly didn't think about it until just this moment for some reason. I'm not sure why, but looks like they're going to push up for the first next turret. Look at that. Botsy getting taken out immediately. First next to turret. Wolf Ball, number 2, shortly to fall after. Frilla's got to be careful. He's going to try to get away from this one. Ace in the hole won't even be there to finish him off, and that will be delayed. Ace coming in, and VG going to pick up the victory here in this best of 1 and advance into the semifinals.
Well, call me a VG fanboy, because that composition was, I don't want to say amazing. Let's go for impressive. If they do it again, then it's amazing, because that poke from Nidalee, which they were constantly connecting from the first minute to the last, alongside Ezreal, who Fearless just seemed to really have a real in-depth knowledge of the Ezreal. We saw those ultimates. Very strong.
Yeah, as I should look at the brackets really quickly. We did have Darker Passage pick up the win versus Lowland Lions.